Good evening, friends. I'm Sheetal Deshpande from Hyderabad. Welcome you all at the UBI Open Mic Storytelling Session. It is an honor to host today's session. To make this evening special, I have with me Mrs. Rupali Gore Lale from Mumbai and Mrs. Meenu Lodha from Mumbai as well. A grand welcome to both of you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes. So before I invite our narrators to spin their lovely yarn, I would like to give a brief introduction of UBI to our audience. UBI, as we all know, stands for United by Ink. UBI is a global platform created for readers, writers, and facilitators. UBI encourages bloggers, movie makers, theater artists, story writers, poets, or those who are in any form of literary expression. They also provide pre and post publishing support, marketing support, media support, distribution support, and make the journey easy for the writers. The annual events like UBI Fest, UBI Hindi Utsav, and UBI Inked Marathon provide opportunities to the writers to come together and to learn and grow. Initiatives like Open Mic provide a platform for artists to showcase their talents. It includes writing, singing, stand-up comedy, or any other such talent which they wish to present to the world. And we are so glad to be part of it. Isn't it, Rupali ji and Meenu ji? I express my gratitude to Mrs. Sapna Shivani Kekre, the founder of UBI, for giving this one platform to help flourish the writer in all of us. When she started this platform in 2018, her sole objective was to bring about collective progress and development by organizing writers and poets under one roof. Friends, I've seen her constant efforts to keep the members active, and that's really commendable. Sapna ji, as I know, does not leave a stone unturned to ensure that every individual's work is recognized. So friends, if you have a hidden reader, poet, writer, singer, musician, playwright, comedian, painter, or even a photographer in you, please connect with UBI and get your work recognized. Now, getting back to our session, I would like to invite Rupali Gore Lale ma'am. Nice to meet you, ma'am.
Hello. Hello, Sheetal ji. Thank you
How are you,
for
ma'am?
inviting me here. Yes. How are you doing?
I'm good, ma'am. So let me introduce you, ma'am. Rupali Gore Lale writes poems, essays, and short stories in English, Hindi, and Marathi. Wow. She loves reading, sketching, watching movies, clicking photos, cooking, and singing. Her work has been published in international anthologies and online magazines. She holds a commerce degree and an MMS post-graduation degree from Mumbai University. She is also an astrologer and has an experience of more than 9 years in Vedic astrology. You can read some of her work on Instagram at Rupali Dilip Gore, on Facebook page Rupali Gore Lale, and her spoken word on her YouTube channel as well. I welcome you, Rupali ma'am. It's such an honor to have you with us today.
Thank you, Sheetal ji. Thanks a lot for the beautiful introduction. And before I proceed, I would also like to thank UBI platform, Sapna ma'am, the founder of this group, and Sham Sundar sir for giving this opportunity. As I begin the first story, it is in the genre of fiction, and it's titled The Kitchen War, Transparent versus Opaque. Annapurna was cleaning the kitchen platform. The rest of the family had retired to the room. Annapurna arranged the utensils in their place. She completed the post-dinner cleaning. Before switching off the lights, she threw a quick, watchful glance at the kitchen. Everything was as per her liking. Satisfactorily, after a long day's work, she went to the bedroom. The kitchen was now dark and silent. The clock struck 12. Out came the glasses, plastic bottles, ceramic mugs, stainless steel spoons and the melamine plates, the Teflon cooking utensils, the saucepans, the copper bottom stainless steel vessels slowly moved towards the daily nocturnal gathering of kitchenware. Today, the topic of debate was transparent versus opaque. The wooden shelf was the moderator. The glassware and plasticware were favoring the group of transparent. Stainless steel items, woodenware, ceramicware, and Teflon coated utensils were in the other group of opaques. The discussion began. Transparent said, "We are convenient to use. The user understands what is inside us without opening the lids." The opaques also had something to say. "We provide mystery and privacy." Transparent said, "We are elegant, stylish, and in vogue." Opaques said, "We are simple and can be sleek too." Transparent said, "We are easier to wash." Opaque said, "We may be a bit harder to wash, but we are more durable, long-lasting than the transparents." Transparents said, "Not necessarily." Opaque said, "Okay, prove it." A glass picked up a steel spoon and hit the ceramic mug of the opaque group. The mug howled in pain and shouted, "Ouch!" Its handle had broken in the attack. The wooden shelf, the moderator, stepped in. The wooden shelf said emphatically, "No violence," and dropped a glue tube. The group members used the glue to stick the broken handle of the mug. The wooden shelf continued. We need to live peacefully and harmoniously. We are interdependent. If we fight and destroy one another, there will be no food stored, cooked, or served. The glass regretted its impulsive, violent act. It asked for an apology. The mug and everyone else forgot and forgave the glass. The mug went near the glass and tenderly shook hands with it. The wooden shelf said, "Cheers!" Everyone laughed. All the kitchenwares got back to their respective places in the kitchen. Annapurna woke up at dawn. She switched on the kitchen light. She was making tea when she saw the glue tube lying on the kitchen platform. She said to herself, "Oops, Munni forgot to keep the tube in its place." There's a place for everything, and everything should be in its place. The universal management principle. When will my darling daughter, a brand manager herself, learn? The kitchenwares heard silently and winked. These human beings will never hear our secret meetings, was their unanimous thought. Now, the second story is a microfiction. It's around 100 words. It's titled Timely Rescue. Hema was in a hurry. Her husband, Vikram, was waiting for her in a nearby restaurant. She was ready when a message beeped. The message on her phone was from an unknown number. She read the message. Save me! Life in danger! Call the police! Hema was shocked. She called Vikram. Vikram advised her, write down the number and call the police. I will take the dinner to go boxes and reach home. Hema called the police without wasting any time. The police traced the number and succeeded in rescuing the endangered person's life. Hema and Vikram slept peacefully. After all, they had facilitated the timely rescue of a stranger. The third story is titled A Friendly Tit for Tat. Madhu visited neighbors' homes uninvited for evening tea, snacks, and lengthy talks. While departing, she would casually say, "Come to my place someday." Seasons changed, but Madhu never changed. That year, Mumbai was experiencing heavy monsoon. Clouds poured rains. Puddles were full of water, and the poor puddles prayed for lesser rains. Madhu heard a loud knock, knocking her out of her siesta. Madhu was at her wit's end when she opened the door, and the ladies of the neighborhood, Sushma, Priya, Bhumi, and Sunidhi, stormed inside. Sunidhi said, "Hi, Madhu. Let's party at your home today. For a change. The rains are working overtime. How about some steaming hot tea and pakoras to beat the lethargy of the grey atmosphere? We will help you. Don't worry." Madhu cut loads of onions, a task she would normally delegate to her house help. Her eyes were watering profusely. Today, at this moment, the house help was not available. Madhu was hosting her friends for the first time. Madhu was so habituated. Madhu was so habituated to be the guest, or rather, the uninvited guest everywhere, that this role was unusual for her, playing the host. Madhu's initial shock and grumpiness vanished because Madhu's posh but lonely home was now ringing with spontaneous giggles and camaraderie of her friends. She loved the upbeat atmosphere in the backdrop of dark clouds and rains. What a contrast. Madhu said, "I love it, ladies. Please come to my home whenever you want to, my dear friends. I am sorry for never inviting you to my place. I would visit your homes uninvited and be there for hours together without even offering any help to you." Priya patted Madhu's back and replied, "Let's forget the past. We are now eager to taste the food made by you, dear." Bhumi and Sushma unanimously said, Absolutely, we are very hungry." Madhu worked like a magician to make a spell-binding tea and delicious pakoras. Both the dishes were ready in few minutes. The ladies enjoyed the get-together wholeheartedly. Everyone appreciated the pakoras and tea. The satisfaction and relaxation on the faces of the guests brought innocent and immense joy to Madhu. The group of ladies formed a WhatsApp group for planning their group activities. A new group, a new Madhu were born on that rainy day in Mumbai. Thank you.
Very nice, Rupali ma'am. Very nice. Your stories were quite interesting.
Thank you.
Yes, all three of them very different
Yes.
and absolutely different, all the three, but they are very good,
Yes.
very nice.
I could
And they
actually
spoke very
imagine the
nicely.
kitchen coming
Yes.
live,
Exactly. Yes.
creating a chaos.
Yes. I hope it never happens actually. Because it was otherwise it will really make. Yes.
Yeah.
But very nicely spoken, very nicely spoken.
Yes, yes. And you
Thank you.
rightly said,
Yes.
Rupali ji, we need each kind of kitchenware, whether it is a glassware or
Yes.
plastic or steel, because
Right.
each one has their own benefits. But
Bilkul.
on a larger scale, I think your story tells us about unity in diversity.
Yeah.
Just
Exactly.
like kitchenware from your story, we all are different but unique in our own way. So each one of us is important to run the society
Important.
as a whole, right?
Bilkul.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
And your second
Thank you.
story tells us about timely help
Yeah.
can save lives. Like people like Hema are a bliss to the society as they try to help even a stranger in the midst of their busy life.
Right.
So that was hats off to that lady. And Madhu, from your last story, I think we need
Yeah.
friends like Madhu
Madhu as
in every
well,
point
yeah.
of our life, right?
Yes.
But the
True.
way you showcased her personality was absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Madhu is
Beautiful.
so good at heart and loves her friends dearly. So,
Thank you, Sheetal ji.
Yes.
Thank you, Meenu ji.
Yes.
Minu
Thank
ji,
you so much.
would
Yes.
you like to say
Sheetal
something
ji.
about the stories?
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
That same thing which you are saying,
Yeah.
especially about the kitchen thing, it is like unity and diversity. So we really have to all live together,
Correct.
breaking ourselves and still binding ourselves with the glue.
Absolutely.
So that is the most important thing. And of
Yeah.
course, saving the person, I mean, like we have to really act very smartly and we have to do sometimes we have to do things which are like out of our boundaries also.
Right.
But we need to do them correct at the correct time, because then only we can do something different in the society or maybe difference to ourselves also. That is most important.
Absolutely.
And yes, personalities, of course, until and unless we change and we accept everybody, we cannot be accepted everybody. So that is the most important, Madhu. Yes. Thank you so much, Rupali.
And Madhu
Beautiful.
understood that the friends could create such
Yes.
a fun and lively
Yes.
atmosphere in her house.
Yes.
She was happy.
Bilkul.
Very happy.
Bilkul. Bilkul.
Yeah.
Bilkul. Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful
So,
stories.
As a group, as a group member also, we should think. We normally, like many people tend to be self-centered. So we should also think
Yes.
on a
Exactly.
larger sense also.
Absolutely agreed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
So before taking this program ahead, I would like to have a word with the audience who I can see have joined in large numbers. So thank you for your likes and comments. It certainly motivates our participants and helps them to give their best. Thank you so much. Now I would like to invite our next participant, Meenu Lodha from Mumbai. Meenu Lodha ma'am holds a master's degree in English literature with a gold medal. She is a bilingual poetess affiliated with few international poetry platforms, where she regularly attends online meetings for the poetry recitation. Her poems are recited on the UK radio by the host of the weekly program. She has received numerous accolades on her creations on various platforms. Her first book, Musafir, Kal Bhi Aaj Bhi, was published in November 2023. And her second book, Whispers of the Soul, is ready for release. Meenu ma'am firmly believes that learning is a continuous process, so she keeps on searching and learning new poetic forms. Searching for unusual words in different languages is also her die-hard passion. Our extremely talented Meenu ma'am also translates religious books written by present Jain gurus from Hindi to English and vice versa. Hats off to you, Meenu ma'am. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sheetalji. Thank you
It's
so
our
much.
honor to share the stage with you.
No,
Welcome.
I am honored. I am honored. And I'd like to thank Rupali ma'am, Sapna ma'am, Sheetal ji, and of course sir for inviting me here. I'm blessed to be here. My good luck, actually, I should say that. I have been doing poems online, but storytelling session. I've started new only, so I hope you like my stories. Though maybe they're not good as Rupali ma'am, but I'll try to speak.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, ma'am.
So thank you so much. I'm starting.
Yeah.
My stories are basically more like related to life only, imagery of life. Maybe you can say mirror life, mirror stories. Simple, but yet you can find such persons around us. Okay, so first story is routines, daily routines which we form. Today she wanted to get up a little late, giving a break to her daily routine life of last 35 years. Though at the back of mind, lots of worries and tensions about future lifestyles were knocking. Yet today she wanted to look and feel happy, relaxed. And she turned to the other side of the bed to see Suresh, her husband. Maybe he was also sleeping, but he was not there. Now, where was he? What was he doing? She started searching for him in the prayer room, in the washroom, in the garden, but he was not there. Now, Chandni was little tense. She knew that the previous days were hard for Suresh. So much had happened in last few days. And what were his reactions? What was going on in his mind? What and how they will live from now? She had so many questions and queries in mind, but she was ready for the change. But Suresh was nowhere to be seen. And suddenly she was scared. Oh, I just hope he has not gone and done the same thing again today. She took out the mobile and started calling him. And Suresh, where was he? There he was standing near the platform of a suburban station, seeing his 7:35 local go. He was in Mumbai, obviously. He knew he was late today, and obviously he was very angry. And he kept on murmuring, why did Chani never set the alarm today and didn't got up on time also? She didn't even give me the tiffin. She's becoming a teeny weeny old and careless, forgetful woman. Getting old, maybe. He kept on murmuring. She should know that this local train, if I miss, next one comes after 20 minutes. And now reaching office late, I will be marked as a half-day absentee and then lots of work too. What a waste of a day. Waiting for the next train, he was getting so frustrated. So much of work was pending in the office. Last minute meetings, detailings, so many files to be submitted. And his head was rotating suddenly, remembering the workload. And above all, the looks of his boss. Oh, now the phone rang. Then he said, oh, again, she calls now to say sorry. I'm not going to pick the phone. Let her call and say sorry now, were the first thoughts. But the phone kept on ringing and the train never came. So he thought, okay, anyways, I will pass my time by catching up the phone. Hello, he said. Now don't you come and say with your sorry tactics. This will not cool me down. You've just wasted my full day and boss is shouting on the other side. Yeah, it's me, Chandni. Where are you? Why you went to station today? I've been searching you in the house. You forgot? What should I forget? I'm not an old person like you. Arre Baba, you got retired yesterday. Now no office and no locals from today. No busy schedules and no office files to update. And Suresh listened and he was numbed. An integral chapter of his life had ended and he just forgotten that thing. The vagaries of life, how we are so used to few routines, how we are so used to doing things which we don't even think about. And we forget to see the changes of the life, the changes that come with the age. Slowly, he turned his back from the platform. Okay, so I have retired now. No more to go and catch the locals and no more to murmur myself and shout at my wife. I'll return home. Not knowing how he would pass his time from now on. Not knowing what the future is going to be. Not knowing how Chandni is going to behave. But he was ready to face the future and went back home slowly yet steadily with a positive vibe. So this is my first story. Thank you. Okay, so now I go with my second story. Missed call. Again, this is also reflecting a life only, people around us. Oh no, I'm again late, said Suhasini to herself. Now I have to hurry up. Tying her hair, running barefoot, irrespective of the cold flow, she ran towards the garden. What would these people do without me? She kept on thinking in her mind. There, Mama was watering the tulsi plant, and Papa was resting on his armchair with a newspaper in his hand, though his eyes were roaming here and there, especially on seeing what Mama was doing. Oh, I was coming, Mama. Why you did that? It's okay, beta. I should also work a little. Otherwise, everybody will start saying that the body is not working and the daughter-in-law is not taking care of me. So let me work. You go into the kitchen and work the tiffins. Smiling and thanking God for all the good gifts given to her in the form of in-laws and hubby and kids, she went to the kitchen and preparing tiffin. Today, as Aryan and Ayan had requested for aloo parathas, she started preparing them. So happy she was. She was such a lucky mom. What would they do without her? That's a question which kept on roaming in her mind. And suddenly her mobile rang. And as the number was unknown, she never bothered to pick. She was busy making aloo parathas. She continued with her kitchen work, finally all done in afternoon. As she was ready for a short nap, the phone again rang. Again an unknown number. Obviously, she never bothered, and she went to take a sleep. In evening, everyone had their dinner, and they were all ready for the routine. That was a chess game. It was a must in the house, and 2 participants were always selected from the chits. Names of Papa, Mummy, in-laws, everybody was there. And today it was her turn to play with the younger son. And obviously, as he was the youngest, he had small concessions like getting favors from the elders. And so, obviously, Mama, with her moms or mom emotional fools like spirit, she made the son win. Everything ended and they were all ready for the next day. Next day, the same situation. Again, while preparing for the tiffins, the phone rang. Same unknown number and same she never picked up. Afternoon came, again as she was ready for the nap, the phone again came. She never picked. But just out of curiosity, she checked the numbers of all the 4 or 5 missed calls. And it was the same number which was calling her again and again. It was the same number which was calling her. She was a little frustrated and angry. When the third day too, the phone came at the same time, making tiffins. Again in the afternoon, the same thing. Finally, in the night, she informed her hubby. See, someone is disturbing me and I really want to get and do a police reporting thing. He said, don't worry, just don't bother. It must be some call center person. And that's why the number is the same and it is coming the same number. Believing him, she tried to get some sleep. 4th day, subconsciously, while preparing tiffin, she was waiting for that call. Now she was waiting for that call just to pick and shout at that call center fellow. The phone came, she picked, but as soon as she picked, the phone got cut. Now, was it disconnected from her or from that side? She never knew. But she was sure that no one was going to call her now because she had shouted the choicest bad words she wanted to say. But the phone again came. She picked up one ring and then shouted her heart, hey, who are you? Why are you calling me again and again? You want to sell something? You want to tell me something? Are you a salesman? Who are you? Just let me know why you're bothering me so much. The phone got discontinued and she just banged the phone. But this phone business was becoming such a big topic in the house. So finally they thought of going and giving it a police report. So finally, after 5-6 days of harassment, family remembered that as Suhasini had got this number few days back only, this was a new number for her, they should go and do a police report and do some queries about the numbers. Complaint was made. police were able to find that the previous number, whose number it was, that person had surrendered the number, and now this was transferred to Suhasini as a new number. So it was evident that someone was dialing the number by mistake. So all problems solved. The phone stopped coming, all were relieved, because that was a number which was somebody saving in their contact number and calling again and again. Suhasini was back to her normal activities, playing with the children, happy to be in the family, happy to be looking after them. Thank God for everything, and even wondering what would be a home without a mom. But there was something which was bothering Suhasini. Some unknown feeling, something that number was like asking or telling or wanting to talk to her something. She was little uneasy, as if she was missing something in that phone call. There was some karmic connections which were calling her to pick that phone. Something inside her was telling her she should have picked the phone. She did something incorrect in not picking the phone. She couldn't sleep because of that. It went on for a few days. Finally, one day, when everyone was asleep, she thought of calling that number. So she said, I'm going to call. She went into the drawing room and she called the number. Now what? Hello, came the voice. This is Rohan this side. Hey, who are you? Suhasini suddenly realized what stupidity she was doing. How and why she called that number? Everything was solved. Then why she was ready to keep the phone again coming and getting that voice? So she wanted to keep the phone. And suddenly the voice said, I know you are Suhasini ma'am. I know you have called late, but I am sorry for all the trouble given. Oh, it's okay, said Suhasini. It's okay. I just called because I was curious. But can you tell me why you were calling me again and again? Why were you calling? Oh, Suhasini ma'am, it was not me. It was my little daughter who was calling you actually. I lost my wife few months back, and this was her number which I had surrendered. And the girl, she misses her mom so much. And so when the time comes of her tiffin, of her coming back from the school, she calls my wife's number, just in case someone can pick up that phone. And then when after the phone is not picked, she comes and tells me, Mama, Papa, I keep calling Mama, but I think she's busy at God's place, taking care of others there. Maybe she is very busy. But I'm sorry, Suhasini ji, this won't happen again. Suhasini was numb. She was almost in tears. Oh God, how I wish I had picked the phone at least one time. But sometimes it happens.
True.
So, yes. Maybe next time she'll pick up the phone. Thank you.
Yes.
That's my story. Yes.
Absolutely nice.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Was so close to life and so sensitive, ma'am. So
Yeah. This happens actually in the life, you know.
yes,
We
yes,
just miss so many things. We don't even know what we are missing.
true. So your first story depicts the reality of life, right? We are
Yes.
used to our routine life, that even the sudden change in our daily lives are difficult to accept, right? Especially when we start the second innings of our life, after the retirement. Just like Suresh, we all face problems adjusting to the new life, right? And Meenu ma'am, your second story was really heart touching. Really heart touching. You made
Thank
the
you.
story
Thank you.
so live with your words that the reel actually played in front of our eyes.
Actually, I'll tell you what, when I was reading it again in the night with my daughters, I
Okay.
really actually started crying because that
Yes.
last portion was so
Yes.
so
It gave us
touchy.
goosebumps, ma'am.
Yes, yes. I don't know, but I told you, I'll be writing, so I just wanted to write something different.
That
Thank
was
you so
really
much
nice.
for liking it. Thank
No,
you.
the
Thank
reel
you.
actually played in front of our eyes.
Yes.
We could see Suhasini finishing her chores, being all the time on her toes, the mom-in-law watering the tulsi plant, the chess game, and the cool
Yes,
and supportive husband, everything. So
Thank you. Thank you so much.
the little innocent girl who lost her mom at that such a tender age. I mean,
Yes.
but the child still hoped to speak to her mom in her own way.
Yes.
was
She was
amazing.
missing those two particular times when the mothers are the most needed.
Absolutely.
Tiffin time and in the nap time.
Correct, correct. No, I can
Yes.
understand. Rupali ji, what would you say?
Yes. Yeah, the first story, I think many people especially can relate to it. First story very well, especially the
Yes,
ones who do a job and follow a fixed routine.
correct.
And the way she has written it, so like no, the flow of words is so good, and we reach there somewhere when Suresh reached the station, and no, we also reach there. Like the imagery is great,
Yes, yes.
and both the character and the narration also I liked a lot of both the stories. Minuji, it's really like you
Thank you
bring the
so much.
characters to life, and very like
Thank you.
down to
Thank you
earth,
so much.
very beautiful narration. I like that as well. And
Thank you
the
so
second,
much. Thank you.
and the second story also, it began like as a routine, but then in between it took a beautiful turn, a
Fun,
twist,
correct.
and then it was heart wrenching. Like, and we all like we reached that sad part was there, and we also
Yes.
had tears like that part
Yes. Yes.
where the little girl is hoping to talk to
Yes.
her mother. She
Yes.
tries
The
persistently.
pain on both the side.
Yeah,
Even Suhasini
yeah.
was like very hurt. Why she didn't pick the
Yes,
phone?
that
That's true.
guilt she faced, that I didn't pick
Yes.
up. Right.
Yes.
Beautifully penned,
Thank you
and
so
all of
much.
both the stories.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Nice, very nice, Meenu ma'am.
Thank you.
Now after these two beautifully written and narrated poems by Meenu Lodha ji, I take this opportunity to introduce our multi-talented, versatile hostess, who is a writer, poetess, and she's one of my favorite writers and one of my favorite poets, I would like to say here. And so I would like to introduce her.
Okay.
Sheetal Pradhan Deshpande ji is a multilingual poet and writer. She writes in English, Hindi, and Marathi. She is an active member of many Facebook poetry groups and participates in many poetry challenges and contests. She has also won many prestigious competitions of poetry. Some of her writings have appeared in many magazines, journals, and anthologies. To name a few anthologies: Goddess on the Earth for English, Whole World in Single Word. For Hindi, she has contributed to Dishaye Zindagi Ki. Then Kumuda, just excuse me for that, Kumudavali in Hindi. Her poems are close to life, poignant, and sensitive. Sheetal ji also loves to write short stories, as it seems like a challenge to her to write the whole story in few words. Sheetal ji is fond of music, singing, and reading. She has a degree in commerce and computer programming from Mumbai University. Sheetal ji has worked in IT field for many years. Currently, she is a homemaker. I invite Sheetal Pradhan Deshpande ji to narrate her stories.
Thank you so much, Rupali ji, for this lovely introduction. Thank you.
Welcome, Sheetal ji.
Thank you, ma'am. So I'll start my stories. Since we are in the month of February, the month of love, I would start my session with a love story. Rains always have a special place in Shruti's heart as she found her love during this season. So let's listen to her story. Sachin was a friend whom Shruti could confide in. They shared almost everything, their laughter, their tears, everything. Shruti had always felt his love, but he had never confessed. So she wasn't really sure. She herself was also a bit confused about her feelings for him. They finished their graduation and started working. He shifted to Pune while Shruti worked in Mumbai. As life got busy, everything else took a back seat. Almost after 2 years, Shruti visited Pune for some office work. It was the month of June and the rains were at their best. Hoping to meet him, Shruti called Sachin. She could hear her own heartbeats all the while she spoke to him, deciding to meet after the work. Even his voice can do wonders, she thought. Why am I feeling so anxious? Do I love him? Her mind was clouded with so many questions. When she met him, she could not take her eyes off him. He was the same, simple but impressive. His beautiful and familiar friendly smile greeted her. Shruti's happiness had no bounds, but she tried hard to avoid blushing, though she knew it was in vain. They sat in a coffee shop and chatted like never before. Shruti realized what she had missed in last 2 years, and that made her aware of her feelings for him. So engrossed in chatting, they did not realize that it was getting late and pouring heavily. Shruti decided to leave. With a heavy heart, Sachin agreed. They waited for the bus, but could not get a single seat in any of them. Shruti, you know how the buses are crowded during rainy season. You are wasting your time waiting for one. Please let me drop you to Mumbai, Sachin finally said. Shruti could see the sudden spark in his eyes, as if this is what he was waiting. This is what he wanted all the while. The weather was so peaceful. It was raining lightly. The lush greenery on both the sides, with cool air caressing the skin, made it a perfect weather for driving. They crossed the city and came to the highway, and suddenly, Sachin held her hand. Shruti was taken aback. She was absolutely not prepared for this. He confessed, there can be no perfect time other than this, Shruti. I tried saying this for years, but could not. Have been trying since we met in the coffee shop. I love you, Shruti. Can't even think of life without you. Will you share your life with me forever? Will you marry me? Shruti's joy had no bounds. She realized how much she loved him. Between tears rolling down her cheeks, she managed to say, yes, I want to be with you for my whole life. They were so happy. Sachin held her hand in his and they drove through the beautiful Lonavala. Suddenly, he stopped his car and said, come, let's have a cup of tea. They got down at the roadside shack, had a cup of hot masala tea and pakoras. It was the best roadside snack and tea they had ever had. Later, he dropped Shruti to Mumbai and they parted. But the beautiful love story had just started. Thank you. So, this was my first story.
Beautiful.
Thank you, ma'am. So, my next story is titled Priceless. Gaurav was trying to convince his boss, Anand. Sir, don't you think you have paid a high price for this old house? It is not worth it. The broker is certainly cheating on you. No, Gaurav, few deals are priceless. This is one of them. I did not get you, sir. My calculations tell me otherwise. Okay, let me explain it to you, Gaurav. This old house has great significance in my life. My grandfather had built this house some 100 years back. My dad was born in this house. You can imagine how many beautiful memories of this house does my dad cherish.
तुम अभी खा रहे हो क्या थोड़ी देर से खाओगे?
I have heard a lot of stories from him all my childhood. And unknowingly, I fell in love with this house. I still remember seeing tears swelling up in his eyes whenever he would mention about the financial crisis my grandfather had gone through, due to which he had to sell this house. The joint family was scattered and had to stay on rent. It was then a mouth-to-mouth survival for next few years. Only when my dad started earning did things start falling in place. But dad never had enough money to buy back the house. I have always seen the longing for this house in his eyes. Today, I can afford to buy this house. Maybe I'm not paying a fair price, but this house is priceless. I've been planning this for the last few years, and today my dream has come true. Gaurav, so let's start working on the renovation and get things ready. You have 1 month's time, Gaurav. Next month is my dad's 80th birthday. I want to gift this house to him and see his eyes sparkle. That priceless smile on his face will make the deal memorable. I want him to spend the rest of his days in this house, his house. Gaurav was speechless. Listening to the story had made him respect his boss even more. He could see a divine satisfaction on Anand's face as he sat sipping the hot tea from the roadside tea stall. Thank you. And my last story, my third story, is titled Vibes. So, Sonika, a first-year MBBS student, the bubbly and chirpy girl, waved her parents and walked towards the hostel, her home for next 5.5 years. Sonika entered her room. A small but neat room welcomed her. The rector had said it would be a twin sharing room. So Sonika looked around for her roommate, but there was no one. She could see a few boxes kept at the corner of the room. Oh, that could be her luggage, Sonika thought. Sonika then got busy unpacking her things and arranging them in a small cupboard. How am I going to arrange them in such a small place? She thought. After an hour, there was a knock on the door. Being the first day, the rector had come to call the students for dinner. When Sonika returned to her room after the dinner, her roommate was sleeping on the bed. Oh, when did she come? And why is she sleeping? Sonika was surprised. She wanted to speak to her, befriend her, but she did not feel comfortable to wake her up. I shall wait for tomorrow, Sonika decided. But the next day, her weird roommate had left even before Sonika woke up. This then became a routine. She either slept the whole day or was not present in the room. She would study the whole night. And if Sonika tried to speak to her, she would say, I don't like anyone disturbing me while I'm studying. Why don't you mind your own business? Sonika felt bad. No one had ever spoken to her so rudely. It was 1 month since Sonika had joined, but she still felt lonely. All other girls were happy with their roommates. They chatted and enjoyed, but Sonika had no one to talk to. She was upset. Her mother sensed her nervousness and said, Sonika, beta, if you are unhappy with your roommate, why don't you request the rector to change your room? Yes, ma, I will do that, Sonika said. Sonika immediately decided to go to the rector's office. It was really impossible for her to stay in this room now. The whole room gave her negative vibes. The roommate never spoke to her. There was absolutely no interaction between them. Her life had become dull and boring. As she reached the office, she saw the rector busy with some papers. I have a problem with my roommate, ma'am. Can you please change my room? The rector asked her for her name and the room number. Searching something in a register, the rector looked sternly at her and replied, Are you trying to fool me? Room number 11 is allotted to only one student, Sonika Sharma, and that is you. This is one room where there is only one occupancy. Sonika was dumbstruck, but she had no guts to argue. She just said, Please, ma'am. Finally, Sonika's room was changed, but her mind was haunted. Who was the other girl? With whom was I staying for the last 1 month? Her legs suddenly felt numb, and she could feel the chills going down her spine. Sonika now stays in a new room with a lovely and talkative roommate with lot of positive vibes. Thank you.
Beautiful story.
Thank you.
Very beautiful. And all the three stories, they conveyed like different emotions and also the importance of relationships. That in all the three stories, I could feel that common thread. And the first one was a lovely dedication to February and romance and love.
Yes.
And the second story was also very, like, it's a beautiful, it portrays a different, very beautiful relationship between the son and the father, and how a legacy is so important for him, which is getting more and more rare nowadays, like holding and preserving the legacy, thinking about the father's feelings. Beautifully penned.
Yes.
And third one was also very, like, you can say in spooky horror genre. It was lovely. Like, no, it was, we could also feel her emotions, Sonika's emotions, what she must have gone through if something like this happens
True.
We could visualize beautifully, very well written, beautifully penned.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Beautifully written, very nicely. The first story, love story, I was like simply feeling the Mumbai rains only. How they are going to have a lovely long drive on this Pune highway. Beautiful it was. Holding hands, and especially that tea stall and pakoras, nicely stated. Only the person who is going in the rains and eating pakoras can have that fun. Otherwise, they can't enjoy the love. Yes, that is true.
And that too at the roadside shack.
Exactly, and especially in the rains, and then with the person whom you are loving.
That's
That
a
was
bliss.
beautiful story. Yes. And of course, second story was, as Rupali ji said, importance of relationship, which today's modern, I don't know, maybe we keep on saying that today's modern people are not having this feeling, but still somehow, somewhere or the other, we keep on hearing these stories also. Maybe it is there somewhere hidden, it will come.
It's there.
But yes, it is there. See, as it is said that as we have given them wings to fly, let them fly, but then give them roots so that they come back to you with love.
Absolutely. Very nice.
So if we give them roots, they'll come back to us and they will save our legacy.
Yes.
And third story, of course, Spooky. I just remembered those Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew days. I know you. Beautifully stated. Very nice stories.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank
and
you.
your
So much,
diction and speaking power was very good. Very nice.
yes. Thank you. I'm
Thank you.
happy
Thank you.
you all liked it. Thank you
Yes.
so much. So we have now come to the end of today's session. I must say it was fantastic evening with such lovely writers presenting their best creations. Rupali ma'am, Meenu ma'am, thank you so much for joining us. It was an honor to share my creations with you. Absolutely. I was really enjoying each and every bit of the story. And last but not the least, I would like to thank Sapna ma'am and Shyam Sundar sir for giving me the opportunity to host this wonderful event with such talented writers.
Yes.
So thank you.
We join our hands in thanking Sir and Sapna ma'am both.
Yes, absolutely.
For calling us and inviting us.
Yes. Absolutely. Hats off to them. Yes. And thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for calling us.